Well, if you're watching this, then it's probably because you are convinced to some degree that hydration really is vital, foundational to health. And hopefully you're convinced about the importance of alkalinity in your body, the importance of antioxidants, and most importantly, that microclustered structured water is the very best way to keep your body hydrated and give it the best chance to do what it was created to do. Now, if I stopped right here, if I stopped with the other videos and I didn't say anything else, I really feel like I will have given you just enough information to be dangerous. And let me explain that. I previously had talked about the water class that I went to when we were going to use the loaner machine for a while. Now, when I went to that class, I had already Googled and done my research, and I was convinced that I was going to go to this water class, maybe use the machine, but when it came to buying one, I was going to buy the $1,500 to $2,000 machine that claimed that they were better and cheaper. The machine also claimed to use less electricity. It also claimed that Enagic was a multi-level marketing scam, and that was why their machines were so expensive. But I went to the class, I listened, and I was corrected, I was captivated, and I was absolutely convinced. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here now. David Carpenter, Dr. David Carpenter, I had spoken about him. He bought ionizer after ionizer after ionizer. He did this with 9 different ionizers, giving water to his patients, none of which came back for more water. It wasn't until he bought the Enagic machine that he was seeing results in his patients and giving out 600 gallons a day. He said the main difference between Enagic and other machines is the amount of hexagonal structure and the stability of the water. It's all about the energy. The water from the Hunza tribe, the water in the Magic Mountain in Japan, it's energy that is causing that water to have that structure. Now, machines that say they use less electricity, they're correct. They do use less electricity. That also means that they cannot transform water from a chaotic structure to a hexagonal structure. The higher the voltage and the longer the electricity stays in contact with the plates, the more complete the ionization process. Enagic uses, I think, about 230 watts of electricity. So when you see a machine that says it's only using 100 watts of electricity, it's just not possible. It defies the laws of physics. Now look at this picture. Here is a comparison between an Enagic plate on your left and a plate from another ionizer on your right that claims to be the same as Enagic. The plate on your left, the Enagic plate, it is 99% pure titanium and platinum. The other companies use mesh plates, and they add to the titanium and platinum other alloys. And the mesh, it does not allow the water to ionize better. It is just simply more inexpensive to make by using less metal. It actually costs 10 times more to make the Enagic plates than it costs these other ionizers to make their plates. Here's a picture of the metal on Enagic plates compared to other plates magnified 500 times. You can see the purity of the titanium and the platinum in there, and you can see how the plates from the other companies just aren't as solid. Let's talk about the claim that Enagic is a multi-level marketing scam, which is why their machines are so expensive. Now, when you look at machines, let's not look at what their marketing is. Let's look at what their markups are. Every company will mark up their products. They have to mark up their products to make money. The SD501 machine costs $1,400 to make. That's a 65% markup. Apple has a 65% markup on their iPhones as well. Most companies, they use commercials and advertisements to sell their product. Enagic has chosen to help its customers instead by selling their machines only through word of mouth. You won't see commercials, you won't see pop-up ads on the internet for Enagic machines, and they send a thank you check after someone purchases a machine after hearing about it. The ionizer companies that charge $2,000 for their machine, it only costs $100 to make. That is a 90% markup. That's what you want to look for when you're researching a machine. Now, I had mentioned in a previous video that the Kangen machines can be totally refurbished. They clean themselves automatically. There's another special cleaner you can run through the machine, and you can also send them to an Enagic company. There's a number of them around the US, and they will take your machine apart and they will clean those plates good as new. The electrolysis chamber is bolted together so it can just easily come apart and be cleaned. Now, many other companies cannot be refurbished. In fact, you have to break the compartment apart, thus destroying the machine if you want to see the plates inside, because it's all glued together. Now, speaking of looking inside, take a look at these plates from another ionizer after being used for 3 months. Now, this is downright dangerous. That is why it is so important to me to make sure that you know what you're looking for. Cheap metals, they degrade after a few months and they can cause heavy metal toxicity and serious issues. There's a lady named Daisy who was getting water from a friend and her symptoms disappeared, but she went online and she was wooed by the $2,000 price tag and bought the $2,000 machine. 2 weeks later, all her symptoms came back and she went out and bought the Enagic, thus wasting the $2,000. Dr. Linda in Seattle also saw results from Enagic, but decided to go with the cheaper option. She ended up being bedridden for 3 months with blood coming out of her eyes and her nose, and she finally put it together that it was serious heavy metal toxicity that was hurting her system. Here's where it gets personal. My husband had a coworker, and his wife had liver cancer. He had asked my husband about the machine. So I went online and I sent him a bit of information, some articles about the pH, the antioxidants, and the microclustering. And my husband ended up moving to a different company, and we did not follow up with them. They also didn't follow up with us, and we just didn't connect after that. A while later, when we had reconnected, it turned out that they took that information, they got online, they bought the machine that was cheaper and better, and it didn't help. Now, by the time we had spoken to them, they were convinced this water stuff doesn't work, it's not going to help, and they weren't even interested in us bringing them the water. We offered to bring them water as much as they wanted to try it, but they had already decided that this disease was going to take her life, and 2 months later it did. Now, I can't know if they would have responded if I tried to follow up. But it really hit home that if I'm going to share about this water, I need to make sure that you know everything you need to know to make a good and a really safe decision. So when you're looking for ionizers, you need the high electricity. You need to have pure, solid titanium, platinum plates. You also need to look at the filters, and you need to look at the markups. That will help you see what's really going on with this company. So I hope that all of this is helpful. I hope that it will give you the tools you need to be discerning and to make really good decisions. Now, I have lots of information. I have pictures of the filters of other machines, the insides of other machines, the plates of other machines. We can compare the size of other machines. I can give you all the information you've ever wanted. So if you are curious about that, or if you are convinced that you really think Life Ionizer or Jupiter is the way to go, please just let me send you the information and the pictures so that you can just be well informed before you make your choice. The last video is gonna be a lot of fun. We are going to look at all the different uses of this machine, and I'm going to tell you about all the different ways I've been able to use it over the past 4 years, as well as results that other people have had. So I'll see you next time.